Hi,
Well,
everyone, and welcome to spooky season. Whoa!
Yeah, we got a special therapy session for you tonight.
yes, we do.
Um, and it's been a while. I
Yes.
went on vacation, so that's why I haven't been on for quite a while now, for a few episodes. Uh, I'm back here tonight for the special token Halloween episode.
Here we go. Halloween.
Uh,
Sorry, I will
so
not do that. I will not do that again, or at least I won't do it again until the end of the episode.
okay. So you want to just jump right in?
Let's do
Yes.
it.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know how to begin this topic because it's more like just general discussion question, but I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion on what makes a good horror film to you guys. Like what do you like to see from a horror film? What
Hmm.
what would your ideal horror film have to have? What kind of tropes or devices or setups? Just we're getting very philosophical here. We're breaking
Right off,
down to huh?
right off the bat, I'd say don't put jump scares in every 10 seconds like a lot of the shitty
I was
ones do.
also gonna. I was also gonna say that.
They're not even. They
Like,
don't even. They don't even startle me half the time anymore. They're so
yeah, no,
predictable.
they
It's
don't.
like jumps and music building up. Jump scare now. Okay, there it is.
I just hate that they rely on that. Like, you know that they're coming nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. It, jump scares are only effective when you don't know they're coming. Although I still hate them when. I also hate it when they do random jump scares all the time. The whole movie. It's like even when you're least expecting it. Like they could be sitting down eating cornflakes for breakfast and they just still have a jump scare. It's like what
Right.
it's like calm down, dude. But anyway, so no jump scares. I
No
think
um,
jump scares.
I'd say you gotta have a creepy ass atmosphere.
I feel like Matt would also agree with you on that. Like the mood, the atmosphere.
okay, but how would you define what makes an atmosphere creepy in your opinion?
Like an abandoned house, a building, things of that nature.
Okay.
Like I think you need obviously you need I feel like lighting is important. Kind
Yeah.
of I follow this YouTuber guy. I'll just give him credit because we post on YouTube more now. Dave
Mhm.
McRae, and he's a big fan of the Halloween franchise, and he talks about how the original Halloween is very reminiscent of like Alfred Hitchcock, and how all like a theater of the mind kind of movie, where theater of the mind meaning that like you don't see a lot of blood and gore. A lot of it is like you have to put it almost like you have to imagine it yourself, like the killings, and you have to imagine that Michael Myers like is pretty screwed up, and that there's more of that that's off screen than on screen. So I think that is also important for horror movies. That theater of the mind, not showing too much, less is more.
You know, you bring up a
Yeah.
good you bring up a good point because I've kind of realized I think I like the idea of implied horror or implied violence over seeing actual violence, if that makes any sense. Like,
Uh, give an example.
well, instead of showing the killing, like in gory detail, I find it's more effective to me in some cases. You you don't show the actual killing, but you imply violence through sound, such as screams or
Yeah, like the killing
good
still
use of
off.
yeah.
Is that what you're getting at? Yeah.
Yeah, I find that if done right, I think you don't even need uh like a really gory scene to be effective.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I'm trying to think of like good examples, which is um
Like maybe The Shining.
yeah,
Like The Shining because it doesn't have jump scares. I know Alex said that. It's famous for not having jump scares. And it has that eerie atmosphere, especially when um Jack Torrance starts to descend more into madness.
Yeah, no, that's a good example of that for sure.
hmm.
I have another one, but I want to see if you can come up with an example, Ben. Like so yeah, Shining, I would say anything with Hitchcock.
I haven't seen The Birds, but I heard that's kind of one of them. But I wouldn't know because I haven't watched it. So, but let's see. Well, Psycho, I think, is one of
Well, okay,
them.
okay, like hmm, I mean, damn it, like the best example I could think of is actually from like Jurassic Park. Now that I think about it,
No, that's a good.
Even though
That's
it,
not bad.
no,
yeah, no,
but
it
like
doesn't have to be a horror movie for this to, be valid. So that's okay.
so like when Muldoon gets sneaked up on by the raptor, and they show him get like attacked, but it's all obscured, and you don't actually see any of like the mauling. But
Yeah, yeah,
but you can still hear his screams of agony. That's kind of what I mean. Like you don't have to go and show this like elaborate uh gory violence to be be terrifying. I think a lot of it is comes down to presentation, and if you have like good actors that can really make convincing sounds of agony, you don't even need to show like the killing per se in like, or you could just make it like a quick flash. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Exactly. Yes. Right. Like exactly. Yeah. No. That Jurassic Park's a good example of that because like I mean I guess you could argue that it is a kids movie, but
No, Jurassic Park's like I wouldn't say that's a kids film. That's like
but I mean a lot of kids see it though.
yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I think them not showing all that makes it a very not too much. Like I said,
Oh,
like you
okay.
said, like
Oh,
more.
okay. I got another example.
Hmm.
Um, the okay, I got another example from an actual horror movie from Midsummer, right? When that couple disappears, and
Yes.
you don't see what happens, but there's that. Do you remember that one scene where you hear like a distant scream out in the, and the characters hear it too, but it's so faint. But like
I think
clearly
I have.
you hear somebody scream out afar, but you never see that character's death, but you know they got murked.
Yeah, it's been a while since I saw that, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes, I do as well. And
Or
could
like
you also? Oh, go ahead.
or even like Will Poulter's character. You don't see him get killed, but you see the aftermath. But you see that he was killed. You see the aftermath. You see his skin being worn by the creepy child. So
Oh yeah,
that's what I mean by like implied violence is like presenting that something terrible happened to a person without explicitly showing it to you and upfront in
I feel like Ari Aster does that though, because I feel like something similar like that happened in Hereditary, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it was.
Hmm. So
Oh, I don't know if this is implied violence, but I was thinking of his other movie, Hereditary, where the girl's head, like her head literally comes off her body.
I
Like
mean, I think
I don't know if you see it on screen actually, but it just made me think because you were talking about Midsummer. It's probably a bad example, so just forget what I said.
mm.
No,
or
I
like
think you
or
were
like
onto something there, Alex.
or like in Alien when Dallas gets jumped on by the alien in the air vent. You don't see it. You don't see what happens like afterwards, but
Yeah,
it's just the presentation of it. You know, Parker comes back. All he finds is the flamethrower. You
right.
know,
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
mm, like so that's what I mean by implied violence. You don't
No, that's
explicitly
great.
show the person's death, but you present it that it happens with like horrible implications, or either by what remains or stuff like that. And I've kind of appreciate that more than just watching somebody get their guts peeled out of them. An extended scene of somebody getting ripped apart. I find
Yeah.
like a lot of movies they use gore uh, excessively to the point where it becomes cheesy and kind of dumb and boring.
Yeah, that's where I feel like a lot of that's where I feel like the jump scares come into, like,
Mm.
because like it could be like the cheesiest thing ever, like, and then yeah, no, I get what you're saying though.
Okay. Anyway, what else? What else
I
do
want
you
to. How
guys?
about a horror movie that has like a slow burn?
Yeah.
Do you guys know what I mean by that when I say a slow burn?
Yes.
Like it kind of
Yeah.
takes a while to get to the premise. You mean?
Right. Yeah. Like get to the
Pace,
premise or get to the scary parts. For
pacing.
audiences that don't know, yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Pacing is very important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pacing. It might be a slow pace, but then like it really gets like crazy and effed up and stuff, and that's kind of like a slow burn, like almost like almost like a fine wine that you let chill, like just like you let a movie kind of get its footing, and then when it cooks, it really cooks.
yeah.
Mm,
No,
Like
I
an
know what you're
example of that,
saying.
I would say would be like The Exorcist, the original one, or
Shining's another great example.
Yes. Um,
Shining's
I
a really slow burn.
would you guys see? I mean, would you guys see Jaws is a slow burn?
yeah,
Because
I
that's what
think
I was
so.
because like it's a
Like
horror movie.
besides the opening scene, um, I definitely think it is a slow burn, not including the
Yeah,
opening scene.
because like you don't really see the sharks minus the opening scene until like the end of the movie.
Mm.
So that's kind of what I get at when I think of a slow burn is Jaws. Even though it's a great movie, it just it takes a while to get to the premise of that. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think of a movie that is like that, but I
Hmm.
can't think of one.
A lot of them. like Alien is a really slow burn. The first,
Definitely.
like the Alien doesn't even show up till like the second half of the film.
Oh yeah.
Like it literally doesn't get like going until he bursts out of Kane's chest. So it's a but what I like is that first half is dedicated to, even though you don't see the alien, it still tells a story through the environment about the alien without,
Correct. Yes.
which I really appreciate. I love that.
I
Um,
also, yeah, definitely. You kind of wish you get more of that world. Like they give you just enough where like you want more.
mm,
Which I know
Right.
that we got Prometheus, but
we don't.
Oh yeah, the prequel.
although I think it's better than people say, but that's just me.
No, I don't think that movie's that bad either. Covenant
It's,
was all right. I haven't seen Romulus,
I also
people,
think
but
the original Poltergeist is also a slow burn.
I
I feel
think
like
so
it.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like yeah. What do you guys think is like okay? Like is too once it's like it's a slow burn, but like a slow burn that goes on too long. What do you think? Like an hour maybe?
um,
At that point, you're just like, okay, when is this gonna start?
And
well, well, I
Poltergeist
mean,
is like, it depends on how long the movie is, because Poltergeist is like what, 2 hours?
Yeah, so the length of the movie has to do with it.
it depends because I mean, when do you when do you consider The Shining starts to pick up? Because most of it is just build up to his breakdown,
I
basically at the
I
end.
think I think when his son has figures out he has the shining power, and when he sees the twins, I feel like that's when things start to
Yeah,
pick up a little bit.
because Doctor Sleep isn't that much of a slow burn, I don't think.
Yeah, no, pretty much goes right into it. And I think that's the book does that more. The book does that as well. I haven't read the book, but I heard the book is similar in that way
Hmm.
Mm.
because you know the characters.
Yeah, exactly. One that I was thinking of actually, any horror movie that's made from A24 is a slow
Yeah,
burn.
yeah.
Mhm.
I like the A24 horror films. They're usually,
Yeah, they're pretty original and unique.
yeah, they are. Um,
Like, I'm trying to think of one.
one example though of a good horror movie that starts off right away is The Thing. I would say that movie's not a slow burn. That movie kicks off right away, but it's still pretty good horror film.
Yes. The one I was thinking of was The Witch. That it's only an hour and a half, but I
Yeah.
thought that was a pretty slow burn.
Yep.
Um,
All right. What's some other aspects of horror? What are some other aspects that you like to see in horror films? What are some other aspects that make horror films really good for you guys?
hmm.
Okay, I'll tell you mine.
Okay.
This is my biggest thing with horror that's like kind of makes or breaks horror for me. Is I think it goes along with what Zach said, but I find that subtlety and ambiguity are the most important things in horror films to me.
Yeah, no, that makes
I
sense.
I like horror films that don't explain their premise at all, and you don't get like an elaborate explanation. I just like to be, I like the mystery. I find the mystery is always more, I find the mystery is more um eerie and unsettling than actually getting the explanation. Which is why I don't like movies generally that have ghosts or demon possessions, because like there's always, yeah, it's a demon, but I mean, I've seen is the stuff that like everybody's heard of possessions and demons before, so you can
Right.
you know, it's not unexplainable phenomenon is what I'm saying.
Are you trying
So
to say, like, don't point out the obvious?
I'm
Or
saying, because like when a person's possessed in movies, generally when people are possessed or have ghosts in their house, there's always that one character there to explain like the origin of the ghost or demon and what their goal is. And to me that just uh I don't know,
it kind of takes away from
that
it.
just deflates it for me. It's like I'd rather not know. I'd rather it be unexplainable. That's why I like the ghosts in the Shining. You don't know because yeah, you see them. They're there. They're obviously ghosts. You don't know why, but you don't know why they're tormenting Jack Torrance and trying to coax him into killing his family. You don't know what their goal is. You don't know what the you don't know what their plan or purpose is. They're just presented there. Um, they're just there haunting the the Overlook Hotel, which you're never given any kind of explanation as to why they're haunting the Overlook Hotel. They're just there. And
Right.
same with, you can like come up with theories, but you're never given like a clear answer.
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
To me, for instance, the alien in Alien, like in the original movie, part of the presentation that I really love is that you don't find the alien on its home planet. You find it in a derelict ship, abandoned in like this dead planet. So there again, the alien itself, you have no idea where it comes from. In the original film, I mean.
Yeah.
Obviously Ridley had to go and explain it to us, but but
Yeah.
I always felt like not knowing where the alien originally came from makes it more alien. It makes it more scary.
Because they briefly are on the planet, but it's like desolate though, if I remember correctly.
It's desolate, and they find the eggs in the derelict ship, and
In the
it's
in the
like,
engineer ship,
yeah,
which there's so much phallic symbols in that movie. Oh my god.
yeah. H.R. Geiger had a field day with that film.
With
Uh,
the phallic symbols. Oh, I just think birth in general. I feel like there's a lot of symbolism or critiques of like birth and like miscarriages, and I don't know, just that's a topic for another day, but it's very
Mhm.
there's just so much to dissect in that movie,
mm-hmm.
That's
literally,
right.
as they dissect the face hugger.
So yeah, so I like more ambiguity the better. Don't explain it. Don't explain your monsters. Don't give them backstories. It just cheapens them, in my opinion. And
Hmm.
people get away from like doing demon possessions. Like it's getting old. Like come up with something different. Even
Yeah,
Hereditary was delved into like fucking Satanism and bringing the demon lord to Earth. It's like this is dumb. It's
and
like,
guess
oh, it's like, oh, okay, so there's a cult that worships a demon, and they and this has all been an exorcist, or not an exorcist, but a possession movie. Okay, cool. Thanks, Ari Aster.
Yeah, the Conjuring movies do that all the time. And guess what? We're getting another one next year.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Hey,
And hopefully that's it.
Yeah.
they claim it
Probably
is,
will
but
be.
they claim it is, but it's also from the director of the third one, which was not that great.
Why would they go with that same director? But anyway.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Anything else that you guys like to see in horror films, or you think make good?
Honestly, not that I can think of. Honestly,
I would just say, I mean, this kind of goes for anything. My last thing I'd say would good acting, convincing
oh,
acting.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I feel like we want that in any movie we see.
I know,
yeah,
but
but
I just feel like horror movies have the bad rap of where
of like the dumb broad, like going to the
or
place
just
and
like and like the meathead dudes and just like, oh, let's split up and look for clues.
then they get killed like the next scene. Like, is that what you want?
Yes. Like, yes, I know that, yes, you need good acting in any movie, but I feel like horror, especially, to get the audience to feel scared, you need actors that can convince you that they're actually scared. And I feel like a lot of actors can't do that, and that's why a lot of actors don't do horror movies, in my opinion.
And then you have like the creepy old woman that tells like the like dumb blonde, "Oh, don't go in the basement." And what does she do? Like 3 scenes later, she goes in the basement.
Chekhov's gone.
But yeah, I don't really have much else that you guys didn't say. So
I like one more thing. Uh, is one more thing that I think's important for uh horror, and I'm sure this is kind of obvious once I mention it to you guys, but isolating your main characters, having them in an isolated setting, I think that's essential. I mean, most horror movies do that, but
yeah,
there are some where it's like the Conjuring films. I mean, they they're not really, yeah, they're in a spooky house, but they can leave it at any time. It doesn't feel like they're isolated.
oh yeah, then they go, "Oh, I'm gonna like leave the house," and then they come back like a few scenes later. I just
Yeah.
Yeah,
cliche.
I feel like any horror movie that takes place in a setting where you can just walk away and run into town conveniently, or it just takes the tension out for me. It's like,
Yeah,
no,
no, I got you.
this doesn't feel like you're in a dire situation.
Right.
Very true.
All right. Um, would anybody like to add anything else to this before we move on?
I
Not that
think
I can.
I've added everything.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I said the obvious jump scares. Don't do that. And then I went off on that little tangent about dumb girls in horror movies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, but kind
I
of
f-
segueing off of that,
okay.
I'm gonna talk about a couple horror movies that I watched so far this month, and then I'll talk about one brief thing involving football, and then we'll move on to Zach's thing.
Okay.
So the first one I wanted to talk about was a Robert Zemeckis directed movie starring Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. It's called What Lies Beneath. It's kind of overlooked because it came out the same year as Castaway. But if you were to think that I mean, would you picture Harrison Ford in a horror movie in general?
I would not.
No.
And Robert Zemeckis directing it. Like, those are two things I didn't think I'd ever see in my life.
Yeah, that's fair.
Basically, Michelle Pfeiffer thinks there's ghosts in the house, and Harrison Ford says she's crazy, all that. But it's fair to assume that I can see why Robert Zemeckis hasn't made another horror movie since then. It's been 25 years since that came out. Because it was jump scares galore for most of the movie.
Oh no.
Yep. And then there was this dumb thing with Harrison Ford having an affair that didn't need to be in the movie. It was just all right. We're back.
All right.
So I was saying the Fright Night remake. It was this vampiric thing. Oh, and Zach, guess who's in this movie?
Who?
You'll never guess. The guy that played Dylan on Modern Family.
Really? Wow.
He's
Interesting.
only in one scene though, and he's super emo. But I thought it was good. I haven't seen the original yet, but Zach, do you remember anything about the original?
That the neighbor's a vampire?
Yeah, that's pretty much what the remake is, and that's what
Yeah, I think it's
character.
yeah, and they had a famous actor for kind of famous actor in the original one, but I think Colin Farrell is definitely more famous.
Yeah, and Toni Collette is in this one too. She's Anton Yelchin's mother. Dave Franco's in it. Christopher Mintz-Plasse is in it. McLovin.
McLovin, there we go.
And it's directed by Craig Gillespie, who did Dumb Money. I thought Colin Farrell was good as the vampire dude. I'll just say that.
Was there comedy? Was there comedy in it? Because the original one had comedy.
Yes, there was.
Yeah,
like I said,
a lot of these actors sound like the comedy actors, so you've seen comedy movies.
Yeah, the first I don't know, 40 minutes, it's just a straight up comedy movie. And I was like,
yeah, the original has comedy, but not as much, I think, as that.
Because Colin Farrell doesn't show up till a half hour into the movie.
Mm.
But maybe I should see the original and then compare it.
Yeah, the original's cool. I'll definitely check the remake out at some point, but
it's streaming on Peacock.
Now. And I have that, so I could watch it. I try to watch a vampire movie or two every October.
Sir, it's pronounced the cock.
Thank you.
Word. Facts, bro. Facts.
Oh, god damn it. Let's see. I got a couple more here. I'm not going over everyone I've watched so far this month because there's 10 of them. So, a Tim Burton Johnny Depp double feature for me yesterday. Sleepy Hollow and Sweeney Todd. Sleepy Hollow is a lot creepier than I remember it being.
Oh, really?
Well, it's Tim Burton, so
Christopher Walken's in it as the Headless Horseman, which I forgot about.
Yeah, it's been years since I've seen Sleepy Hollow. That's one of the first horror movies I saw when I was younger.
And then Sweeney Todd, it's not as creepy as Sleepy Hollow, but it is pretty disturbing, to say the least.
Remember Sleepy Hollow? Thinking back on it, it seemed like a pretty goofy movie.
It kind of was, because like a lot of it has to is in freaking the courtroom too. So
Sleepy Hollow was?
well, because a judge sends him to investigate the murders of the Headless Horseman murders.
I thought Sweeney Todd was creepier.
Really? Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
what's funny? When I saw that movie for the first time, I recognized the songs because of that episode of The Office where
Oh yeah.
Andy
Does
production of
Sweeney
Sweeney
Todd?
Todd.
Yeah, I loved that episode. Yeah, it's a good.
Um,
It's good. It's a good. I mean, I've never seen the show live, but I've seen a theatrical filmed version of the play musical, and yeah, the movie's pretty accurate to it.
I like the songs in the movie, but when there's not songs, like Zach said, it is pretty creepy. And Sacha Baron Cohen's in it as well.
Oh yeah, when he was doing like those movies.
Yeah, and then the woman that was in every Tim Burton movie back then, because I think they were together, Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, well, they have 2 kids together, I think.
I don't think they're together anymore, though. That's why
No, they're not. I think he's dating that woman that was in Beetlejuice, the Italian film actress, Monica Bellucci, I think.
huh?
I think they're dating because they were holding hands at his
At the
Hollywood
premiere.
Walk of Fame ceremony.
Oh, okay. And then
So now I guess she'll be in all his movies now.
and then there's another Johnny Depp Tim Burton movie. It's not. It's like a kids. It's like a kids movie, Corpse Bride.
Well, he's got a couple.
It's like 70 minutes, so it's like the length of The Nightmare Before Christmas. Stop motion animation. I think it's Tim Burton, because Tim Burton didn't really direct The Nightmare Before Christmas, so I feel like this is
Right, yeah, I know.
This is his answer to it, yeah.
yeah.
And
And then, huh?
never mind.
No, go ahead.
No, no,
Okay.
it's fine.
And then lastly, Zach, I told you I watched this over the weekend because I think you guys were expecting it. Hubie Halloween. Just it's a dumb movie, but I like watching it every year.
Yeah. You know what's funny? When I went on that bachelor party in August, we watched that shitty Thanksgiving horror film while we were up there.
Oh, the one from last year from Eli Roth.
Eli Roth did that?
Yeah. So
God,
I guess that's
God damn,
that's who
dude.
that.
Eli Roth. Eli's been on He's been on some hard years. Then that movie had like no fucking budget, dude. You could tell.
You know what sucks? It takes place in Plymouth, but it wasn't filmed there.
Dude, I
That
know
is so
that
freaking stupid.
that was
Literally,
so.
it's not literally what? Wasn't George Clooney? He was just here filming a movie in Plymouth.
That was so funny, dude. Though, because they kept saying how because it taking place in Plymouth's a big deal for the movie because Thanksgiving is a big deal at the town. And me and my buddies are watching it and we're like, yeah, that's not in Plymouth. That's not in Plymouth.
And
Like
I think they
this
were
is clear.
talking.
This is
They
clearly
were,
like some like podunk town in the Midwest somewhere that they filmed the the movie in.
I
It's
remember they were talking shit about Hanover constantly in the movie.
Wait, oh, you know
Hanover,
what?
Mass.
Yeah, I think you're. Why Hanover?
Why?
Why Hanover though? Like, who the fuck cares about Hanover?
Because
Like
I
what? The
think they
Duke
were
of Hanover? Like what the hell?
because I think they were playing like Hanover in like a Thanksgiving football game or some shit like that.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. But usually, like towns, it's like often the case, right, where like towns will usually hate the town that's adjacent to them. And
Yeah, so in
Hanover's
Pearl's case, it'd be like Kingston.
it'd either be like Kingston or Carver or Middleborough, like probably not Middleborough, but uh, something that's like adjacent to Plymouth, not Hanover.
No, but I remember that movie being really stupid.
It was. I mean, it was funny to watch while I was drunk off my ass, but I mean, it was also just so cheap. Like, and to hear, to hear that it's Eli Roth that made the movie, like, I wouldn't have known. I would have known that. It looked
If
like
I didn't
any
say
other.
it.
It literally looked like any generic budget horror film, but just
No, because I
Thanksgiving themed.
remember there was like the first scene was like Black Friday, and that went on for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and that scene sparked the motivation for the killer. Also, like the people that he killed, I kept asking my friends, "Who the fuck are these people?" When were these characters established at all? Like, I don't remember
Like,
any establishment for these characters. He's just killing random people. I don't know. Like, what the hell?
You know what's another movie I'm
yeah,
curious
Zack.
about that sounds very similar to it? In premise is It's a Wonderful Knife.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
Like
someone
what was
in our
going on? Like what was going on last year with all these holiday themed horror movies, guys?
I don't know.
It's like a weird trend that's happening.
we've had holiday themed horror movies in the past that are
But
better.
like two last year, like two kind of ones that were pretty. A lot of people had a lot of buzz, but not for good reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Zach, you didn't see either of those, right?
I have not.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Yeah, you
I
don't.
knew, I knew that Thanksgiving was trouble as soon as I saw that Eli Roth was the director.
Eli
So,
Roth should just stick to like. He's good at making like documentaries about horror. He should just stick to that.
Yeah,
right.
he's never been amazing at horror films, but he's made better horror films than Thanksgiving.
I just thought it was such a missed opportunity to not film it in Plymouth. I mean, they could have said it anywhere at that point. I mean,
Dude, I'm not kidding. The budget was so cheap that like I'm
but
fairly certain.
we have tax breaks for movies to film here. I guess he was too cheap for even that bastard.
No, I remember around that time that
Like
came
we have,
out.
like we have some tax breaks here. I mean, maybe not as good as we used to be,
Yeah,
but
okay, but dude, like the movie has like an entire parade scene. Like there are some big like extensive scenes in the film. Like there's the Black Friday scene where people storm into the store, and then there's like a parade in the town. So I'm literally thinking logistically could not afford that in Plymouth.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm on IMDb. I'm trying to see where it was filmed. So,
We want to take bets on where, what state. We should take bets on what state it actually was filmed in.
oh, it's not in the U.S.
Oh my God, is it Canada?
Yeah, it was filmed in Canada.
uh,
a lot of places like for that filming for New England, they film them in Canada.
Yeah, but
But,
usually for movies that take place in the woods where you're not gonna notice.
let me guess,
Not
Alex. It was in Quebec, right?
Ontario and
Oh,
Toronto.
I'm surprised. No, because a lot of movies film in Quebec now. Quebec or Ontario.
mm,
Oh,
like the
and then
Toronto, Montreal area, because there's a booming up and coming film industry there apparently.
and not only that, it's getting a sequel. I can't wait.
Well, yeah,
Oh
because
yeah,
because it did the stereotypical like horror movie thing where it's like, oh, they're still out there. They're still they. You think they're gone, but they're still out there. You know
that was
that.
another thing I was going to say in your conversation about horror movies, Ben. Where I was going to say, although again, you could say this for any movie, horror movie cliches should not.
I
Yeah.
I hate that cliche.
I know I hate a lot of horror cliches, but that one I hate the most. But the thing is, it depends because if it's deserved, okay. But if it's not deserved and the movie's crap, no. Like I feel like
So,
there's justification for it sometimes, but to do it in every single horror movie, it's just like, no, you're just going for like it cheapens it.
and it
It's
came
like a
out
gimmick.
around Thanksgiving, and it bombed.
Yeah.
But they're doing a sequel.
I think it bombed, but I just remember it not doing as well as like.
Why would they do a sequel if it bombed?
So, the budget was 15 million,
Yeah.
and it only made 10 million the opening weekend.
How much
Oh,
did it
but
make, like, overall?
worldwide.
46. So it kind of.
Oh,
It
okay.
it doubled its budget, so it made a profit.
Okay, yeah, so it was profitable. That's
It's
why
just they probably expected it to do better though. Like I could definitely see them thinking that it could do at least between 60 and 80 million, especially since it came out around Thanksgiving.
But you
15,
also
15
had.
million 15 million this seems like a lot. I don't know why the
For that
movie felt so cheap.
mm,
But yeah, I mean, you had the Holdovers out around the same time, which is a much better holiday movie than Thanksgiving.
like I feel like that Halloween movie from 2018 had a lower budget and didn't look cheap. But again, that was also produced by Blumhouse and they know what to do.
They know
That's
what
the
they're
other.
doing.
Oh, Thanksgiving was not made by Blumhouse. I don't think.
That's another thing. Blumhouse knows how to do small budget movies that don't look cheap like that. But like
Even if they
freaking
stop.
Paranormal Activity cost what, under $1 million, the original one? But that's also not a good comparison because it's a found footage movie. But anyway,
Yeah,
Blumhouse is the king of low budget movies. And probably A24 is somewhat too.
Even
yeah,
if
but yeah, but A24 makes out like quality stuff. Blumhouse seems to just like throw shit to. Blumhouse makes a lot of the cheap horror movie, like
that's what I'm
the
saying. Like
cliche horror films.
Yeah,
a
but
lot
they're
of them are
but I
not
think
good.
Blumhouse has some hits too. Like they've had hits and misses.
I think Blumhouse did Get Out, and we all know how that did.
Mm.
So I think that's gonna be my thing. All I'm gonna
Uh,
say for this next thing is the Patriots are bad. They look worse than they did last year, right now
They're
at
un-
least.
they're unwatchable, Alex.
I only watched like half that game yesterday. Like,
They're almost like at the verge of like high school or bush league.
damn,
and
that
like
bad.
It's
Rough.
that bad. No, it's that bad, Ben. It's really bad.
well, they won the first game against the Bengals, but
And
and
they
they
almost
almost
won the second game.
yeah, but then after the Seattle game, they played the Jets. They like did not play good at all. And then
I,
I didn't watch the game against the 49ers
I didn't
because
watch it either, but it was bad.
and then the
I
game
just
yesterday, I was in a bar and I saw like half the game and I was
they
like
they could have won yesterday. They blew it.
so now the question is being raised like, oh, should the Patriots start Drake May? And I mean, at this point, like I don't think it
They have nothing to
matters.
they have nothing to lose, but they're probably definitely not making the playoffs now. So
Yeah, but I
I
mean,
don't
what are
even
you? What do you expect? It's a first year for a brand new team and a brand new coach. I mean, what do you expect?
No, but they didn't try in the offseason to get anybody. Like they were so cheap, like cheaper than before. Like they have the new GM. He like said they were going to spend money, right, Alex? And they didn't spend money.
They did, but no, they brought back a lot of. They didn't bring in any new people. They re-signed
Well,
a
that's
lot
the
of the.
thing. They didn't bring in any good free agents, but they did sign the people that were decent before, I guess.
Yeah, but and then like they cut Juju before the season start, but which was fine because he was terrible.
I just think the GM needs to be better, and until they start spending more money, they're not going to get better.
I feel like they're saying that Kraft is cheap though, and I can kind of see that.
It's starting to show, I think.
It's starting to show because he had Tom Brady as a shield all those years.
Mm.
And even
Well, at least
Belichick, they did make and Belichick, I mean, they did make the playoffs once without Tom Brady and they got killed, but like
yeah.
I think it's just obvious now that Kraft doesn't want to spend money and just expects us fans to keep going to the games and watching the games.
Which
Because the
is
thing is,
it's stupid because like the Patriots franchise makes like a killing. You
I
think
know.
you
Well,
could like
that's why they can't stink for too long or else like because I mean Boston's a major market. They can't be this bad for too long because they're one of the top. They were one of the most in demand, popular franchises in the NFL.
well, at least the Celtics just won the championship, so at least Boston has that to look
I
forward
know they're
to,
like
right?
the only good team in town. The Red Sox I barely watched this year. I mean, I went to 2 games, but I didn't really watch them on TV because it's kind of the same thing with the Patriots. The ownership and John Henry is too cheap. Why am I going to support a product that's they're not? If they don't care, why do I? Why should I care? You know.
Yeah, at least the Celtics front office cares.
They do, and the Bruins seem to have a good thing. They seem to always be decent every year. I mean, I know they choke a lot, but at least they're making the playoffs every year,
well,
Exactly.
Celtics went to the finals last year, didn't they?
And they
and they
won.
won.
Yeah. So I mean,
It's the
yeah, so
Celtics' town for right now.
yeah, they've
They're the
been good.
top team.
They've been good the past couple years. You're right. Bruins have been good.
Red
Um,
Sox were good for a year after the pandemic, and then they stunk again.
That was the year after the pandemic, right? It was like 2021. They played the
Yeah,
Astros in the playoffs.
we went to like we went to like the series. We almost made it to the World Series that year. We could have.
mm.
Yeah, after 2018, it just hasn't. After they won the World Series in 2018, it just like hasn't been the same team.
Yeah, I mean, 21 might have been an anomaly, not to get too off topic, because it was right after COVID, so people were like they were fired up and you still had like a few players that were still on the team and then that's another thing. The Red Sox always let like their talent go to like better teams.
I can't remember the guy that went to San Diego, but that's one that comes to
Xander
mind.
Bogart
Yeah.
and Mookie Betts to the Dodgers. Benintendi went to the Brewers, I think.
Yes.
They were basically guilted into signing Rafael Devers because they didn't have anybody else.
Yeah, I think. But if next year, if the Patriots don't sign anyone, I think it's gonna come down to who's more cheap between Kraft and John Henry.
Well, I think people, Alex, will probably stop going to the games. They're going to start to notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think right now they're fired up fans because, like Ben said, the new team and the new coach. But I
They
think
won't.
if they stink next year, I would say there's going to be a lot less fans going to the games.
Yeah, and then Kraft will see what being cheap gets you when
Yeah,
he's
well,
not.
And we all,
hopefully maybe he'll retire and then Kraft's son Jonathan will just take over the team.
and we all thought Bill was the cheap one all these years.
Yeah, I mean he kind of was, but
He had to be
yeah,
because he's
he
working
had to
with.
be with Kraft, and it'd be interesting to see if Bill goes to the Jaguars next year, which I'm hearing he might. How
What?
he'll have full control of the team. Although I don't know how their payroll is.
I've been hearing that they want him to go to Dallas. So I'm like, no, don't go to Dallas, Bill.
Well, no, because he's not gonna have any control. Jerry
Oh, yeah,
Jones
'cause they-
controls that team.
and no one likes him.
Whereas
Yeah,
if
that
it, whereas if it goes
asshole
to
Alex.
if it goes to yeah, if he goes to the Jaguars, they're like, please, we'll give you we'll buy anybody you want. You have full control. Please just make our team good again. Just make our team good.
I know, literally, because they were good. They almost made a Super Bowl, but we
The
beat their ass.
Jaguars.
Yeah, but we beat their ass.
Oh,
Did they make an
yeah.
AFC game?
Yeah, no, wasn't that the year we played the Eagles in the Super Bowl and then they lost?
Oh yeah, so the Jaguars probably would have lost anyway, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
they were good. They were good that year, but yeah, we'll see. I mean,
Oh, the
I'll still
Jaguars.
support.
You'll still support the Patriots.
I'll still support the Patriots. I just can't promise I'm going to watch every game anymore.
Yeah,
Like
no,
I
like
said, Alex, probably the London game and the game that you and I watch every year. That's basically it.
yeah, that's fair. Oh yeah, they're playing the Jaguars in London. That's interesting.
Yeah, so I'll probably watch that game and the game you and I watched, and that'll be it.
What was it? Oh, the coach that's on the Jaguars now is actually the coach of the Eagles that beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So
That's very interesting.
So I guess
Yeah.
he's kind of lost his touch in a way.
Oh, Alex, just quick before we move on to my final topic, any updates on how your fantasy's doing?
I'm gonna go on to 3-2.
I'm going to go on to 4-1.
Oh, good job.
Thank you. Joe Burrow killed it yesterday. He had 5
Yes.
touchdowns.
Yeah, I have him too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
And he still lost.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
They still lost. They lost in OT.
So the
Damn.
problem, so I lost a game because I had Christian McCaffrey, and they didn't tell us that he wasn't playing in the game until like right before. So that cost me 1 week.
Oh, have you guys are you guys annoyed as I am about seeing the Kelsey brothers in like every ad in YouTube now?
Oh my god, they have
Stupid,
their own
yeah.
cereal now, and
Yeah,
It's getting really bad and stupid.
yeah.
oh, and guess what? Travis Kelsey is going to be in Happy Gilmore too.
But I mean, the thing is, they blame Taylor Swift for that, but they already were doing stuff like this because they had that stupid popular podcast that everybody obsesses over.
What? Oh, what's it called? New Heights.
Yeah, like Taylor Swift. Okay, maybe with Travis Kelsey, but they already were like overexposed because of that stupid podcast.
Yeah, no, they already had that podcast before Taylor Swift's.
That's the thing. So I'm saying like none of this they shouldn't be blamed Taylor Swift for this because they already were like on the cusp of doing stupid stuff like this.
Well, let's
And
be honest. Well, let's be honest. Travis Kelsey needs to date. It's more important, or how do I phrase
Yeah,
this?
it helps his career, right?
and Jason Kelsey.
Travis Kelsey needs Taylor Swift more than Taylor Swift needs Travis Kelsey. Let's just put it.
Exactly. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously, like some of this stuff is probably because of Taylor Swift, but I would say they already were starting to do stupid stuff like this before her.
Yeah, and Jason Kelsey doesn't
And Jason
play
has nothing to do
anymore.
with. Jason Kelsey has nothing to do with Taylor Swift. He's
No,
on
but I'm
like
just
two or
saying.
three different commercials.
No, it's fine that he does these because he doesn't play anymore. So
Yeah, well, Travis Kelsey's probably trying to be like Gronk too.
yeah, but Gronk will
Yeah, but
always
Gronk's-
be better. Gronk will
Yeah.
always be better than Travis Kelsey.
Yeah, well, Gronk's also he's a host. He's a host for the network now. One of them.
Oh, so is for Fox, and Jason Kelsey for ESPN.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then Tom Brady's on Fox now.
I heard Belichick's also going to be. Isn't he going to be on Fox too? Or there? He's thinking about.
Probably, I heard
Something
like
isn't he going to be on something like with the CW, Alex?
I forget what it was, but something like that. Yeah. What else? What else is stupid? Oh, the Chief's Wives and Girlfriends reality show. Like, who's gonna fucking watch that?
Oh God.
Oh, and guess what? Taylor Swift and Mahomes' wife won't be in it, but I feel like that's a lie.
Don't they hate each other right now? Wasn't there like some drama between those two?
Oh yeah, so apparently Mahomes' wife supports Trump and Taylor Swift doesn't. It was just this whole big thing.
Oh. Ooh.
It was kind of stupid. I blame the media for that a little bit.
Yeah, no,
Because
so it was
it wasn't really that big. It wasn't really that big of a deal, but they made it such a big deal.
oh yeah, and
Oh.
then on Twitter, like the next week, they're like, Taylor Swift doesn't sit with Brittany Mahomes at the game. I'm like, who cares?
I know. So, I mean, what is this, like high school?
Mm.
It's like you can have political differences and still be friends. Like, it's so fucking stupid.
Well, are
I
they
mean,
actually? Do they actually like not talk? Are they actually not talking because of that, or is it
no,
just?
no, no. They've talked now, probably because the media was calling them out on that. I blame more Mahomes than Taylor Swift, because Taylor Swift didn't really do anything. It was more
No, she
Mahomes
didn't.
was just kind of being annoying as usual,
Oh, like she always is. Yeah.
like she always is. I blame her more for that. And I think they said when Taylor Swift endorsed Trump that Brittany Mahomes wasn't mad, but she was like shocked and didn't know what to think of Trump anymore after Swift endorsed Harris.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's everything that's going on there. So Zach, you want to finish us off with your thing? Huh.
Yes. So my thing is, so we've had so over the weekend I saw Francis Ford Coppola's Megaopolis, which was a passion project of his that he's been in development since the 70s, and he couldn't get a major studio to finance it, so he sold parts of his winery in Italy to raise the money. And the movie bombed.
Yeah,
But
so
I'm
I've
glad
heard
it
it's
got made.
divisive.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Alex.
No, I was just saying I've heard it's very divisive right now. That's it. So yeah, what do you think of the movie overall? I'm curious.
Zach.
Oh, sorry. I thought the movie I thought the movie was okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. I definitely think it could have been more. Trying to think of the word. I think it could have been more accessible to the average audience. I think it was trying to be too smart for its own good, and it was trying to appeal to cinephiles and movie buffs and not general audiences as
Oh.
much. Um, so I thought it could have been better, but I don't think it was as bad as everybody's saying. What I wanted to bring up tonight was, so we had this movie bomb, but we also had another passion project this year that bombed, Kevin Costner's American Horizon
Oh
movie.
yeah, because they canceled part two because of that. I think.
Exactly. So that was also a movie that a lot of studios didn't want to make, and Kevin Costner really wanted to make it. And it was worth $100 million. I don't know why it cost that much to make a western, but anyway. And Megaopolis cost 120 million to make, which again I'm not really sure why, because there wasn't a ton of CGI in it. But so my question to you, gentlemen, tonight is: This the we though this is part one of a part two thing I'm doing. So I want part two for Matt to be here. But anyway, so part one is: what would you do if, like, just say, I don't know, Steven Spielberg, I know he's a bad example because he makes all his movies do well, but take X director, any director, and they want to make a passion project movie. How should they make it so they like it and enjoy it themselves, but also audiences will like it too? Like, what do movies need to do? What do director passion project movies need to do to not bomb, like American Horizon? or Horizon and Megaopolis?
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to answer when we don't know anything about the hypothetical movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, you know what I think would help a lot of I think the going the Star Wars route where you have one person in charge of directing and you have a separate person in charge of editing. I think that's like a good strategy to have for any director making like a uh fresh new movie that they're introducing to the world. Having like somebody on your staff to basically tell you no, like this should or shouldn't, what does and doesn't work in their film, and telling them to cut it out. I think that I think that really does help a movie's success, because I felt like I know I bring up Beau is Afraid all the time, but I felt like that movie was felt like they were being way too indulgent on for they were indulging Ari Aster way too much on that film, and
Yeah, no, I finally got around.
it kind of shows. I mean, I still like the film well enough, but I think if Ari Aster had somebody there to help, not even like if he had like a co-director, even, like, I feel like just somebody there, like, to be like, yeah, that's a good idea, or you have a good idea here, but maybe we can present it in a better way. Just somebody that can like reel a director in and like you know think basically be the second opinion. I think that is I think that's what uh, saves a lot of movies from like Star Wars from just becoming a absolute mess.
Yeah. Hmm.
What
That's
about you?
good. I
Um.
really, I really like that.
What about you, Alex?
Yeah, Alex, I give the question to you. What would make a passion project by a director more accessible to average moviegoers like ourselves,
Huh. Let's see.
or even people that like movies less than we do?
You got every Tom Brady's got to have his Belichick, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
Exactly. I'm right. I'm right.
yeah.
100%.
I'd use Spielberg's The Fablemans as an example because it's kind of about his life. So if you like loosely base it on your life, but without being too pretentious.
Mm,
Yeah, that's the
uh,
thing. Too pretentious, and I feel like American Horizon or it's just Horizon. Sorry,
No, that's all right.
Horizon and American Saga. I feel like Horizon and Megaopolis were both kind of pretentious, but I feel like Horizon was a little bit more pretentious than Megaopolis, which might surprise some people that I'm saying that, but I feel like Megaopolis wasn't pretentious because it was kind of a high concept thriller almost. As Horizon, I feel like was just made for like fans of Yellowstone and like fans of westerns.
That's what
that
I got from the
that's
trailer.
not
Yeah.
that's not being pretentious. That's pandering.
Mm. So maybe it's more
Well,
pandering then. I didn't think either movie was pretentious, and then I guess, but I
To
guess
me,
pandering. You're right, and the same thing with Megaopolis. I feel like Coppola was pandering to like cinephiles and like movie geeks.
for a movie to be pretentious, it has to like not dumb down thing. It has to present like high concepts and not like dumb it down for regular people, normies.
yeah, like don't have your head so far up your ass.
Yeah, like
Right.
like you just make your movie so convoluted and it
Like
complex.
I feel like James Cameron's a little pretentious.
What? Because he makes them too long, or like?
Too long, and I feel like he's always like, "Oh, my movies are so great. Like, look at the visuals. Like, it's so much better than any of this Marvel shit."
Yeah, I feel
Like,
like he's.
I feel like he thinks he's like the master of like the blockbuster movie, which I don't think is true
Well,
necessarily.
that's the other thing, like that goes with like pretentious is like presenting and acting like your movie is a higher quality than it actually is. Like
Yeah,
let's be honest, Avatar is not complex. It's about blue space monkeys fighting the Marines from Aliens. Like it's
yeah,
not. This is not high concept art here. This is this is a CGI spectacle epic.
right.
Um, I still have not seen Avatar 2. And I've heard a lot of people say it's good, but I'm still am not. It's such a it's such a time commitment to watch these movies these days.
Yeah, no, it took me a while to finally get to it, so I understand.
I haven't seen the second one yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
so
I
Al.
watched. No,
Oh,
go
so
ahead.
so Alex. So what would for you make these passion project movies by some directors better and not box office bombs?
Well, so the reason I feel like Spielberg did so well with the Fablemans is because he was like, I feel like he was very dedicated to it, which is what I want. Which is what I feel. Well, Coppola and Costner probably were dedicated to their project too, um, but Spielberg knows what he's doing, and
I would like to think Coppola knows what he's doing.
I think
um,
Coppola is just kind of senile now.
but like like Steven Spielberg is like gonna be 80 years old pretty soon, and he's still like making really good movies that do really well.
That's the other thing. Coppola's 85, so he's probably, I don't want to say losing his edge, but
You know what director I think is starting to get pretentious. His
Please say
movies are
Clint Eastwood.
what?
I said, please say Clint Eastwood, but I'll let you say what you were gonna
I guess
say.
a little bit Clint Eastwood.
Some of them, but I feel like that's punching down at this point. Dude's like, dude's ancient.
And he's
Um,
still making movies. That's why I'm saying that. But go ahead.
Christopher Nolan's movies are starting to feel a little pretentious, like Tenet. I mean,
And it was very pretentious.
yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Thank, thank God he had Oppenheimer after that. I'll just say that.
Yo, that was like the pandemic too, and yeah,
Well,
it was too
I feel
confusing.
like
Same thing with Megaopolis. It was too
yeah, but
confusing.
some people would argue that Interstellar is also pretentious. It probably is.
But it's
It's
well done though, I think.
yeah.
well, no.
I found the Prestige kind of pretentious.
Yeah, and I know you guys are gonna hate me for this. I'm starting to think Wes Anderson is a little pretentious.
Oh yeah, his latest movies. He's gotten yeah.
Sorry, but I know you
He's
guys like him a lot, but
no. I would agree. The
You
success
mean
of
like
his there's
no? Go
a
ahead.
there's a director I feel like he needs a second person to help him now too, because I feel like
Yeah, after the Grand
I,
Budapest Hotel, I can kind of
his
see him.
his movies are becoming he's becoming way too indulgent with his like his shtick, his tropes with his latest films. And also, I feel like he just doesn't have it. I just don't feel like he has any like solid ideas anymore for films.
again,
Like,
kind of like just throwing stuff to the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, like
Like
his
I feel
I
like it's a bunch of It's like he has a bunch of random ideas that he's probably been wanting to do for years. He's like putting them all together in every single movie that he has coming out.
Because I
Yeah,
don't
but
think he's had a great one since the Grand Budapest Hotel.
no, I don't think so either. They've been kind of mid for like the past few years, and each one, like all the his last three films have always felt like kind of, I don't want to say half-assed, but like
I mean,
it
I
just
didn't hate Asteroid City like our friend did, but
I didn't either, but it also it
I felt like
did
that
it it,
pretty
it
pretentious.
felt they've all felt a little empty to me. Uh, they continuously feel like substanceless for
When
like the
I
past couple
rewatched
movies.
when I rewatched Asteroid City, I was like, this is a little pretentious.
Yeah, like I said, the whole gimmick with the second half of the second storyline about the play, it's like, all right, this is this is getting a little over the top.
So I'm sorry to say this too, but I recently rewatched The French Dispatch, and I was like, this is pretty pretentious.
Yeah, I didn't care for that movie. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I didn't care for French Dispatch either.
It was too odd for me.
I
Too
liked
many.
it when I first saw it with you guys, and I was like, okay, I can kind of see why this movie didn't do very well.
Yeah. I definitely think I liked Asteroid City better, but
Like,
I don't like anthology movies, I've decided. Unless like the anthology movie like stories connect, I don't really care for them because it's like I'm just watching short films.
I
I
can't remember. I don't remember if the Royal Tenenbaums is a anthology
No,
movie,
it's
but
not. It's not.
Like a
oh yeah,
I like a straight linear plot. And if
I
it is
don't.
the anthology, I like it to all connect, and I didn't find the connections to In French Dispatch to be that great.
because it would go
Just my
from one thing to
opinion.
the next. It would go from one thing to the next in like under like 5 minutes, and it was like, well then,
I don't. I don't mind anthology if it's. The thing is, for me, anthology it doesn't need the connection. But what annoyed me about French Dispatch is that it's does that thing where it's like a story within a story and a story, but like multiplied times three because there's three stories. But then each
Right.
story has to have
A story within a story.
yeah, a story with it's like it's too many layers.
Yeah, it's like 9 stories.
It's too many layers of narration. It's becoming confusing like who the stories are actually about. Is it about the narrator, or is it about like the narrator's recollection of the story? It's like it's confusing like whose perspective we're supposed to be focused on, which characters we're supposed to be focused on in each story. It's annoying. It's too
yeah.
much. Yeah.
But like, I'll go back to what I said. I feel like he hasn't had a great movie since Grand Budapest Hotel. Like, I still go back and watch that, and Royal Tenenbaums, and Bottle Rocket and Rushmore. But
I th- I think there's
I wonder if he kind of got cocky after Grand Budapest Hotel did so well, where he's just like, I don't care
that's
anymore.
that's what I'm. But his short movie, the first short movie of four, I actually liked that one. But the other three were weird.
I
the
agree.
the well, that's what I mean. Like it feels like he doesn't have any. He doesn't have like any ideas anymore. He's kind of just he's just trying to like come up with stuff for movies. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel
Hmm.
like he's actually has an idea that he wants.
Right.
I think that's why he's started to lean heavily on uh his film style for
Yeah,
for like the last three films. He's like really leaned heavily on the tropes of his film style.
yeah. Yeah, and a lot of the time it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
But
Honestly, it'd be kind of beneficial, I think, to him if he got away from his normal tropes and did something, go back to his roots and did something simple, like some of
Yeah,
his.
he should go back to Rushmore and Royal Tenenbaum's aesthetic.
Yeah.
I feel like he's getting too quirky, and it's alienating people from going to his movies now.
Well,
Because I remember,
it works if you actually have like it works if you actually have like a full size plot to carry
the other
that.
thing with him that I've started to think is kind of annoying, like he doesn't need to have that many big names in his movies.
yeah, but some of them are barely in the movies.
That's
Yeah,
It's annoying.
because they advertise all these big names, and like more than half of them are only like in one scene.
One or two scenes.
And it's like, dude, stop advertising like all these big names.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
another thing.
So,
Yeah,
Alex, what's your answer? What would make a passion project by a film director better for audiences?
I'd say
What would
I'd
need
say
to be done?
basically what we were just talking about with Wes Anderson, pretty much. I
Like
think.
don't cater to his fans. Cater to
Yeah, cater to everyone. Don't cater to like your specific fan base.
Don't pander is what you mean.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I feel like that's something he's been doing a lot. Now that you guys say that,
Well, I
and
feel like post Grand Budapest Hotel for sure, and maybe people thought he was doing for Grand Budapest Hotel, but I thought the movie was good enough that it was above that.
like it was up for Oscars, and I feel like he kind of is salty because he didn't win for that.
Yeah.
I think his biggest takeaway from that, because that was his, I'd say, most successful film.
Yeah, it's his peak for
Yeah,
sure.
that's his peak so far. I think, unfortunately, his biggest takeaway from that is, oh, people must really love the quirky, colorful, uh,
Aesthetic.
play a play within a movie type of aesthetic.
Yeah, he's making all the movies that he's doing now, like Grand Budapest Hotel. So that's why I'm glad, like you said, Ben, he has another movie coming out, and it seems like it's a smaller movie. So hopefully it'll be more like a back to basics.
Hopefully.
I mean,
Because I don't think the cast for the new movie's that big. So
and aesthetically, I think Asteroid City is my favorite movie aesthetically. I think it's like this best looking film as
it
far as
is. I
set
agree.
design and color, but his his storyline had it really didn't have much meaning to it.
Yeah, there wasn't really a point.
Yeah, and that's what's kind of been irritating about his films lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Like Grand Budapest Hotel, like had all these big names, and I feel like he's like, oh, I can just do that with every movie I make now.
Yeah, and I feel like that would be kind of my similar answer too. That make a movie for everybody. Don't pander to your fan base. Don't, although it's a passion project, another thing, don't freaking make the budget so high. Like, I feel like the budget for,
Yeah, because if it doesn't do well, like you're not gonna get your budget back.
right, like Horizon Megaopolis were both, should not have cost over 100 million. I'm pretty sure Asteroid City, what did that cost? Probably like 50 million. It didn't need to be that much money.
Let me go to IMDb.
It was a pretty high budget because I know it didn't really make a profit.
Because that's what I did when
Do
we
you
were
think
talking.
do you think Jesus, your microphone is your microphone is going crazy, dude.
Mine? Sorry.
I think it's yours. Yeah.
It's all right. We're almost done anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh my god. All right.
Anyway,
Do you,
well, the budget was like in the 20 to 35 million range, which I didn't think it needed to be that high, but it looked like a
Right.
beautiful movie. So
do you think it's possible that higher budgets are making directors more lazy?
kind of,
That
yeah,
could
I
be
agree with
it.
that.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder if like these higher budgets are just have like are just making directors
Yeah, and
rely more.
I feel like
Just
that's happening with like the big blockbuster movies too, Ben. Like, I know there was delays with COVID and stuff, but like, freaking the newest Indiana Jones movie cost like over 300 million to make. Like, I feel like
And did
that's
it?
just laziness and misspending.
Mm.
I'm guessing it didn't make that back.
I feel like
It did not, but I think it did. It just I don't think it bombed, but it like underperformed.
yeah, I mean, it must be that like these once you give like a unlimited budget and you I don't know, it just must signal to some directors that like, oh, I can just make it all CGI instead
That
of
is one. That is one good thing. That is one thing I will give. Although we hate him so much, David Zaslav credit for. He does try to cut the cost for some of the movies and shows. The thing is, he's doing cuts to things that should not be cut,
mm,
Yeah,
like canceling Batgirl. Like, okay, that's $100
just for
million
no
dollars
reason.
down the. Like, just that's $100 million down the toilet. Like, there was hundreds of people that worked on that movie, and now you're never gonna release it. Like, what the hell? But I
Right?
think Ben's right. I think for directors and studios need to stop greenlighting movies just for the sake of it. I think they need to greenlight movies with realistic budgets and not astronomical six-figure budgets
Alex, are
Yeah.
you
or nine-figure budgets, like, or eight-figure budgets.
Alex, are you blowing into your microphone? What's going on? Why does it sound like you're in a wind tunnel? Like,
I don't know, because my computer's shit.
didn't you buy a new computer not that long ago?
I did, and then it's broken, so I'm on my old one.
The new one broke.
Yeah.
How did it break?
No, not
Remember?
when. Oh, when you got mad, I thought you got a new computer after that.
No, I haven't
Oh, you haven't
replaced it.
gotten it yet. Sorry.
No, that's okay. But we're almost done anyway, so
But anyway, that's my topic. Any final thoughts?
No.
no.
All right. Well, I hope you listeners out there have a great, happy, safe, candy filled Halloween for yourselves. Watch some horror movies. Listen to our podcast when you're
Don't
eating
do
some chocolate
drugs.
bars. Yeah, don't do drugs. Inspect your candy. Make sure there's nothing dangerous in them.
Yep.
Be careful. Be careful at night. Um, don't talk to strangers. Eat your fruits and vegetables.
Okay, bye.
And have a spooky Halloween.
Bye, guys.